Hey, this is Tom. Welcome back. As always, don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, don't buy nothing. Today, we're actually reacting to a very interesting 2 minute clip by Meet Kevin. He interviewed the head of research for Kathy Wood's ARK Invest and basically asked them a question. Why did you guys completely liquidate your Palantir stock position completely to zero? What happened? Now, I'm going to warn you that this is kind of a breakup conversation. You know, when if you ever had a breakup conversation after you broke up, it never goes well. I mean, I've been on the receiving end, I've been on the giving end. Whenever you have a conversation, when the dumped party is saying, "Well, why did you leave me? Why is I not enough for you?" You're never gonna get a good answer. It doesn't exist. And I've been on both ends. It is what it is. So don't expect to have a fuzzy, warm feeling. Kathy dumped us, and it is what it is. Now, I am curious academically what happened because nothing in my analytical side that has no emotions, the explanations that they gave so far don't really add up with what ARK's supposed to be, and the way they're behaving just is kind of doesn't add up for me for some reason. I'm actually looking forward to hearing what Brett has to say because obviously he's a smart guy to get some more insight into the thought process of what made them sell Palantir because maybe we should be concerned as well, you know? Maybe the bull case is now not as strong. Let's see what he has to say. I'm honestly completely open to hearing what he has to say about it.
You know this one's coming. Palantir, what happened?
Sure. I mean, like I described, as we're in risk-off periods, we tend to consolidate the portfolios. And so, we had some concerns about their competitive positioning within the government space and thought we had better risk money elsewhere. And so it's not, there when you're making a decision to like consolidate a portfolio, it's not like those are easy decisions, but you look at kind of like the risk return profile for all of your positions and say what's lowest on the stack rank relative to something else that we think has comparable upside.
That makes sense. So in risk off periods, to make this simple, basically when prices are going down, narrow into the ones maybe you have the most conviction in. That's what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If we have a better edge somewhere else, then we'll operate somewhere else.
So I want you to pay attention here. He's saying our level of conviction. I love that face by Kevin. It could be a great thumbnail. In times, Kevin, if you're watching this, you should screen this. This is the best thumbnail face ever. So he's basically saying, hey, we don't have as much conviction in Palantir as we have in our other stocks in our portfolio. Fair, no problem there. I completely understand. Now, I'm curious about the second part is what Kevin is alluding to is why? What leads you to having less conviction in Palantir versus when you bought it at mid-20s? That's the part I'm curious about.
What did you think about their idea of investing into SPACs to the Palantir to basically try to VC partner with them and then get that software contract? Was this a little bit of a gimmick? Was that strategic? Or is the bigger focus on government and maybe their government activity not growing? Because that is something that stayed stagnant.
Yeah, I think for us, it's more I think that they had a really differentiated product in government a few years ago, and then their competitive positioning has diminished, and then those government contracts, I think that they've shown a higher interest in multi-sourcing. So it's an interesting company. I think that the technology is super interesting. We're very bullish on AI generally. I think that the marginal competitive weakness on the government side just left us with other places to go.
That's fine.
Okay, if I was Kevin, I would push back here a little bit because basically he's saying, well, listen, I love you, you have a great character, I love what you do, I love you as a person, but I'm not in love with you. This is what he's saying to Palantir pretty much. Now, what he's actually saying here on a serious note, and I want to be serious here a little bit, is basically, hey, listen, we don't mind about the SPACs, which would have been a valid argument. A lot of Wall Street investors don't like companies who basically function both as an innovator, but also kind of as a VC holding company. It's a very strange mix. It's a very hard show to pull off. He's not going there. He's not saying. He's saying I have no problem with the SPACs. He's saying that we're seeing a decline in their government business, and that's why we don't feel as confident about it or not. Now, again, I want to see if he has anything more to say about Palantir, and if not, I'll break down what he just said because it's a really problematic statement. Hold on a second.
All right, let's move on from that one. Let's go to
Okay, so he's going to a different stock. So basically, here's the deal. And this is the part where it never added up for me. Because if Kathy Wood is calling herself innovation, in fact, she's saying that if you buy a SARK, the inverse ARK, you're betting against US innovation. Okay, so if you're innovation, and if you keep preaching about a 5-year horizon, I would argue that Palantir is probably a top 3 of the innovative companies you have in your portfolios across the board. So, except from Tesla, and I can think of one more, but let's say Palantir is a top 3 innovative company in your stable. And if you talk about a 5-year horizon, would it be more probable than not that they're going to be extremely dominant in the commercial sector? Yes. In fact, I would also argue that most of us on long-term Palantir bulls honestly don't really care so much about the government side. It's all the commercial side is where we see the massive growth for the company. So the government side is kind of the legacy side. And if you look at the Palantir slides, they'll show you it's stagnating. So this is nothing new. The government side has been exhausted. It's been fully utilized. I mean, there's only so much governmental agencies that need this sort of Gotham products. I mean, there's not a lot more of market share to explore there, unlike the commercial side, which is wide open for an enormous amount of TAM. So again, even if you think that, and that's fine if you do, if you think, hey, we don't have enough government business, that's something that's been known for a long time. Nobody was claiming here that Palantir has a massive upside because of the government business. Everybody was buying into the commercial side of things, which is kind of a self-contradicting statement. If you're an innovative 5-year horizon fund, why would you sell an extremely innovative company that's now trading at half of what you paid because their legacy government business, sorry about that, is basically my software is out of date because essentially the government business is dropping. So, hey, listen, I'm not really angry at Brent here or Kathy or ARK. It's just this answer leaves me confused. Let's be honest. It's very clunky. It's a very shaky answer because it's basically makes me kind of lose faith a little bit in ARK. It contradicts by definition. It's okay for if he would have just said, hey, we don't like Palantir anymore. We don't think they're as innovative. We don't, whatever. Like, look at these guys. They just keep badgering you with to buy their software. But basically, if he would have just said that in itself, that would have been enough. But him focusing on the government side, this kind of exposes ARK for what it really is basically not really a 5-year horizon innovation investment because you either that or you care about the government business. You can't be both. So I'm a little bit confused about the answer. It's very shaky. But then again, I mean, let's be honest. It's ARK. It's their prerogative. They can do whatever they want. It just seems to me that kind of proves to a lot of us that ARK is mainly a marketing machine and the whole innovation 5-year thing is just a slogan. I said it before. I said this market is going to expose a lot of long-term investors as speculators, and I think that proves that a little bit. It is what it is. Listen, I'm not any less bullish on Palantir. In fact, I've released a whole video earlier today, explaining why I'm more bullish than ever on Palantir because of what just went on for the past 4 days over there in Europe and Russia and Ukraine. If you want to watch this video, I'm going to put right here an end screen with the link to the video. Go watch it. I break down in about 8.5 minutes why I think Palantir just doubled their total addressable market on the government and the commercial side. Watch the video. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video.